Welcome back to Attunement Podcast number 22, everybody. Let's get it. I'm Harry. This is my friend Samek, and we're going to be talking about what's going on our emotional and spiritual journeys this week. Samek, hit me.
Been going crazy on Twitter. You've been going ham. You've been excited. What you been learning?
Oh, I forgot to say the experiment of the week is taking your God-given place in the universe. Yeah. So if I take my God-given place in the universe right now, then I like money. There, I said it. I like money. I want to eat it. I want to bathe in it. I want to rub it on my face and my butt. There, I said it. Um, 4 days ago, I started doing, so if you ask Joe Hudson, like, Joe Hudson, how do I make more money? He's like, bro, do gratitude every day, 7 minutes on all the material things you have, like all the material things you have, all the wealth you have, all the resources you have. So I've been doing that for 4 days, and I can't tell you that I've made any money. But I can tell you that it's made me way more genuinely motivated to work on my business. And so, in the last 4 days, yeah, you said excited. I've just been like actually excited. I've had so much tension in the past about marketing, and I've just felt like actually excited to market or to like work through my blocks to actually market. And I've been actually excited for the first time in a while to like provide a service to someone. And I provided a service to someone yesterday. Like I basically coached someone yesterday on like anger stuff. And it actually felt good. And I felt the guilt. There's a guilt part of that for me, which is one version of it is not holding my boundaries, but another version of it is taking my God-given place in the universe, which is like doing what I want to do and having the boundaries I do have and speaking from my authority and truth and like having someone trust me and like having someone see how skilled I am and like wanting to receive parts of that. And that's like, there's guilt on both. There's guilt in the ways I don't take my God-given place in the universe, and there's guilt in the ways that I do. Because there's guilt when I don't. I'm like, oh, I'm not living up to myself. I'm doing it bad, and I feel guilty. And when I do it, I'm like, oh my God, people trust me so much, and I'm so empowered, and I could do anything. And I think I'm smart, and I'm scared that people won't like me if I think I'm smart, and I think I'm skilled enough to offer what I'm offering, and I'm scared people will think that's arrogant, and I want money, and I'm scared people will think that's arrogant. So there's like the external guilt of like, I'm scared people are gonna think I should be ashamed of what I truly want and what I truly want to do. And so like, I did this anger coaching thing so the projection I can do there is like, art of accomplishment will fucking disown me if I do this. Which is like, if there's anyone I care if they're ashamed of me, it's art of accomplishment. If there's anyone who's unlikely to be ashamed of me, it's the people who are on art of accomplishment. If there's anyone I can trust to hold healthy boundaries, it should be art of accomplishment. And still, I'm so afraid of being guilted and punished. And it can even project it onto Joe Hudson in Art of Accomplishment, which is kind of crazy. And so literally 2 nights ago, I was like writing the Twitter thread to post to say like, hey, I want to run an experiment with anger coaching, see if I enjoy it, see if I think it's safe enough and effective enough with me running it, down to do this with someone for free. And I'm literally sitting on my computer for like a full hour, writing to AI about this conflict and this guilt. And then I randomly read through my draft tweets, some of which are insane, but a banger in my drafts was the inner critic in my head that keeps on saying, "What should I do next? What should I do next?" is actually just my nanny punishing me for doing what I naturally want to do.
I think you tweeted that out.
Yeah, yeah. So I sent that out. I read that in my drafts and then I sent it. Um, but I think I wrote that like 8 months ago. So I'm literally sitting there and like, I don't know if I want to like post this anger coaching thing. Like, Art of Accomplishment might disown me and blacklist me and guilt me and punish me. And then I saw that tweet and I was like, damn, I'm so bought into the story at like Art of Accomplishment. One wouldn't be okay with this, which I'm not even sure about already. And two, that if they weren't okay with it, they would punish me for it rather than like having some boundary or request or conversation. And maybe three, that they would like silently punish me for it behind my back. Um, yeah, so put those together, it seems extremely unlikely. And so that seeing that tweet helped me see through that story, and then I sent it, and then I had a great session with someone, and at the end they were literally like unprompted, they were literally like, I would pay you for this. Like I would pay you this much for this in the future if you offer this in the future. And I felt like it really I feel like it went well. Yeah, and it's just like some of the more fulfilling coaching I've done. And I really enjoy anger. And I had other conversations last week about marketing, and it's like most things I could offer, I'm like, here's what it is. And someone's like, oh, I don't really get it. Can you explain it to me? And I'm like, shut up. I don't wanna. But like the anger work, I just truthfully feel like is so valuable that I'm like, someone's like, can you explain it to me? I'm like, yes. I'm like, yes. Oh my God. There are so many ways to do this wrong.
Yes.
There are so many ways to do this wrong. This is so. There's so many ways to do it, but in some ways it's so inaccessible, and I want to make it more accessible. And you know, I do have fears. Like, I think it is a generally somewhat. It's one of the more dangerous parts of emotional work. But I also think I have a lot of experience and a lot of attunement about it, and I think I'm pretty good at this point about not pushing people. And I've been fucking. I hired an abusive guru to teach me how to do anger, and that man pushed me. That man said, if you don't do 11 out of 10 anger 3 times this week for, I don't know, 30 minutes or something, I'm not working with you anymore. Um,
Whoa.
that was not a good move by him, and I stopped working with him. Um, but like, I know what it's like to be pushed in my anger, and I know how much that sucks, and I don't want to do that to people. But it's a scary. It's scary how much people trust me, and it's scary how much I trust myself, because I do think Art of Accomplishment, who I really trust, would be like, hey, this is kind of dangerous. Maybe just don't do it. I'm like, no. That's scary. Because I really fucking respect them and trust them, and think they're right about almost everything. Um, yeah, I'll pause there.
Yeah. I'm curious about, you said things can go wrong, and then you're like taking your God-given place in the world, but you're also like owning your boundaries. How do those how do those come together?
Can you say the three things again, please?
There's a lot of things that could go wrong with anger. And then at the
Mm,
beginning you also mentioned like the experiment for today is taking your God-given place in the world. And then you
mm,
mentioned like your own boundaries before you even
mm,
said that. So I'm curious like how
mm.
they come together.
Yeah. So I see it coming together like in the coaching session, the person being like, hey, what if we tried this? And me being like, with the amount of time we have left, I don't want to go there with you. Like, I don't, yeah, that doesn't feel safe. That doesn't feel like a safe thing to me to do. So that's like the boundaries. And then God given place in the universe is almost like, and God given place in the universe is almost the reverse of that, which is like, wow, I'm scared to do this primarily because I'm scared of art of accomplishment punishing me, which I think is so unlikely, but that's the emotional fear. And it's like, hey man, like, it's okay. I really want to attune to if I hurt someone here or if I mess up, but ultimately it's like okay if I make a mistake. Like, I don't have to be perfect. And me not posting that tweet and me not trying that session is me trying to get it right. Is me not letting the natural flow of myself. Is me not taking my God-given place in the universe. And it's like, hey man, I think I can do this. I totally think I can do this. And so I'm gonna step into that. And maybe Art of Accomplishment messages me and like, hey, please not do this, or like, hey, can we have a conversation about this, or like, hey, here's the boundary. And I'm like, great, dude. Like, whatever happens. Um, I don't know how it's gonna play out, but it's just like that's where my system wanted to go. That's also scary. And then on the first one, like, there's so many ways this can go wrong. I mean, honestly, what that is for me is like, dude, I think this is so important and valuable, and I have fucked it up in so many ways, and I've had 3 different shitty therapists try to teach this to me, and like, there's nothing that I more obviously feel like I could provide value to people by teaching. And there's nothing I'm currently more excited to teach. Um, yeah, it's just like, dude, I feel like I fucked this up in 300 ways. And love, I would love to teach you how to not fuck it up in those ways, or at least how to recognize when you are fucking it up in those ways. So yeah, you don't have to do it over and over and over again. And at least how to recognize if you have a shitty therapist so that you can get out of that relationship. Um, and it's like, it's almost going to make me cry. Um, and I was writing, yeah, I mean, I really just like, I think it's too important, and I think I have the ability to like increase the accessibility of it. And it feels silly. It feels like blocking myself to not do that. Uh, and it's okay if like when I do this Art of Accomplishment, or someone genuinely convinces me or genuinely sets a boundary with me that makes me choose to not do it. But there's nothing yet that would make me choose to not do this, or at least explore this path. And I was writing this blog post titled "For a Struggling Young Man," and I was like, what advice would I give basically to my past self, or like to my little brother, or to some guy who's fucking 21 and depressed and is like, the job market's shit, just feels like everything is shit. And I thought I was gonna write this like really long blog post, and then the meat of the blog post was, dude, find a way to express your anger and be loved in your expression of it. Find a way to authentically and enjoyably connect to your anger. The easiest way to do that is like the Art of Accomplishment Decisions course and masterclass. And then there's also Rage Club online, which I haven't done. I'm like, damn, this shit is not accessible. Like, if my little brother was like, I hate my life, what do? I'd be like, you're probably not about to pay $3,000 for this course you have $3,500 for this course you have no connection to, you're probably not going to go to Rage Club. You could, and I think it's probably good. I haven't done it, but my friend said he liked it. You're probably not about to go to Rage Club online, in this like random culture that you probably don't resonate with. Um, yeah, so that just kind of made me like, fuck, dude. The people who are in the position I used to be in are just fucked. Yeah.
True.
Dude, literally, literally, I couldn't see anyone who understood. And Joe Hudson was there and I didn't see it. But I couldn't see anyone who would teach me how to healthily express my anger. And then I had a bad, more traditional therapist who couldn't do it. And then I was like, seems like no one fucking cares about this. This crazy guru on the internet who wants me to pay him $50,000. He clearly fucking gets that anger needs to be expressed and wants to teach me how to do it. It looks like no one else is gonna do it. And like I totally get, that's gonna make me cry too. Like I totally get why I had to make that choice, because it's just not accessible. And like Rage Club is free or close to free, so like maybe financially accessible through Rage Club, but at the very least like not accessible like culturally to many, many, many people. Because like how many people vibe with the marketing and culture of Rage Club? I don't know, 1% of people. So it's just like, yeah,
I love how passionate you are about this.
thanks. Yeah. Woo.
Anything else?
Last thing I think is, this came out of expressing a lot of anger this week. There's a really shitty meeting that happened about 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, where I live, and it made me so mad. Oh my God. It made me so mad about my childhood. It made me so mad about the school system. The core of it is just like, is like the lack of authentic leadership, the lack of authentic courage, the lack of authentic masculine energy, the lack of healthy yang, the lack of positive masculine role models. But you could just say like the lack of king energy. Like it's just like where are the fucking leaders I can look up to, especially as a kid? And so we're just in this meeting and there's like no fucking structure, 12 people bickering about stupid shit, no facilitator, and it's just like, it just felt like the embodiment of that. Like it just felt like, dude, this is why Trump's in power. Because no one in this room has any fucking courage. No one in this room has any fucking courage to be a real fucking leader. To trust themselves enough to be a healthy fucking leader. So instead, the lowest parts of ourselves, the most power-seeking, the greediest parts of ourselves, the parts of us that want to bicker and rip each other apart, that's what's going to happen in this meeting. Because no one's going to set any fucking boundaries. And no one's going to fucking step up. And it's like, that's how scared this room is of healthy masculine energy. That's how scared this room is of leadership. And it's like, come on, man. It's not that dangerous. Like, I get it. Like, I get it. I understand why we're here. But it's not that dangerous. And we're not that incompetent. And we're not that fucked up. And so I'm proud of how I handled that. I set a very imperfect boundary, but I think honestly a pretty good boundary, all things considered, is like I was like, hey, this meeting's super ineffective and like there's no structure and like we can do better. Like, what are we doing? And then the bickering kept happening, and I was like, this meeting is super ineffective. It's ineffective because of the lack of structure. I'm gonna leave. Um, and I left the meeting, and then later I debriefed it with my boss, and it was awesome. I love my boss so much. Um, and later, like I talked to the director of Earth Dance where I live about it. Like I was like, "Can I give you negative feedback?" And he was like, "Yes." And I told them lovingly like what my perspective. Um, yeah. So we're making some changes. Let's fucking go. Uh, and fuck that garbage. Um, yeah.
Beautiful.
Bang. You ready? You ready to swap back?
Yes.
Sweet. What are you learning right now?
I shared with Harry before the when the call started. I'm pretty depressed right now. I'm feeling the voice in the head is going crazy. Um,
What's it saying? What's it saying?
like everything bad you could possibly say about
Nah, come
everything and
on.
anything.
If you want to share something, I want to hear something specific.
It's just like childhood stuff. It's like, oh, your childhood is fucked, you're broken.
You're
Um,
broken.
yeah, yeah. Or like you're pathetic. Um, yeah, your life is shit. Like everything you're doing is useless. Um, stuff like that. And there is like a protectiveness in it because oh, so what I've been doing for the last week and a half was taking care of my friend. He tore his Achilles, so he's like bedridden after post surgery. Like helped him. I took him to surgery. He was in the hospital for like 6 hours, and then it's like basically making like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, cooking, taking care of him, and just like hanging out with him. And his roommate had his whole family over, so I was sleeping by him as well. So I was being pretty like I was basically just caretaking for a week and a half. And this is my best friend from middle school. I love this man a lot. And I just like got to like just like be with him and in a way like see into his world. And yeah, like this beautiful world. Like he cares so deeply about everything. Like he has a little plant by his bed and he like knows the number of leaves on that plant. He spent like hours and hours like taking care of the soil so that it doesn't have gnats, taking care of the water so it doesn't bring gnats. Um, like started with a tiny plant and like had it grow. He like spent a few days like looking for the right pot and repotting it. And he like loves that plant. And then I remember his girlfriend like, put the shade down a little too quickly and it hit one of the leaves. And he got so mad. He was like, that's my fucking plant. Like you don't get to fucking hurt the shit that I fucking care about. And like everything in his life, it was like such deep care. And it takes a long time to do anything with care. And you can see it in his life. Like, like when he was working, he got laid off, so he's been just like leak coding and studying to get a new job. Um, but when he was working, like he'd come back from work and spend like 2.5 hours cooking himself dinner. Like he comes back at 6, he's done at like 8:30, he's made like a beautiful meal. Like he deeply, deeply like loved meal and he like makes himself food. In his room is like a bunch of like, it's like decorated, like a very like decorated room with like stuff he loves, like his favorite artist, his favorite band, photos of all his friends, Polaroid photos. It's just like a very loving person, very emotionally attuned person. And in a way, like staying with him and living with him, I got to see that side of him so much clearer because I could see so much more. And he's always been this way. I like looked at his college, like he was in the honors program in our university, and he had a website. And in the website, it was like for the heart, for the head, uh, and for my soul or something. And then he has like every year, like V1, V2, V3, and then every course he took, everything he did in college is like categorized for those sections, and he's written like little essays about each of them. And it's like, whoa, he made his own community. He like started his own thing. He took classes that nourished each part of those, and he writes about how like emotionally attuned he is and sensitive he is like since way back. And I could never really see it back then because I was so heady and more intellectual. And it's like doing all this emotional work for me is like new. It's like the last 2 years. For him, he's always been super attuned and a really like big-hearted guy. He's also like 6'4", big-hearted giant. It's he's an amazing guy. And
Is he a lanky boy? Like, how much does he weigh?
um, I don't fucking know. I have no
Is
idea.
he
I mean, he's
is he
probably
is he lanky or is he like jacked?
he's like in between.
In between. Okay.
He's not
I have a
jacked, but he's not lanky. He's like a big
cool.
guy.
Cool. I have a lanky friend who's 6'4", who's awesome, and so I just imagining him. Please continue.
Yeah. You gotta take care of those big bodies. Like he was just playing basketball and he tore his Achilles, so you gotta you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so just like hanging out with them, and then we watched the movie Didi. I don't know if people know of the movie. It's like about an Asian, Taiwanese American um, boy who like grew up in SoCal and just like it's like in the summer of between eighth grade and ninth grade, and it's such a beautiful movie that dives into how shame affects your day-to-day interactions, like what
Oof.
happens. And also like it was it was so similar to my childhood. Like watching the movie, it's like, oh, this kid feels so much like me, like the social awkwardness, the shame, the trying to pretend to be someone you're not, the lying about little things to try to fit into the group. Uh, the really, really negative, critical grandma and mom, like it was like all like very like my childhood. It felt so good to watch, and I watched it with him. And there's like this other character named Fahad in the movie who's like this like slick guy who's like good with girls and funny as fuck and like very like attuned. And in a way, like it felt like me and him, like me and my friend. And it was watched that movie, hung out with him, and like, all this like shit from my childhood started coming up like throughout the week, and I was like just terrified. It was like a lot of fear, like a lot of like emotional abuse that I went through, and like physical abuse, and like I would just like lay on the floor and shake. And then he was telling me, I was like sleeping by his side. He's like if it was anyone else, I'd be like calling 911, like what the fuck is happening? But like
Uh,
Samek is sleeping next to me and shaking in his sleep, like spazzing out. And I'm like, yeah, I do that apparently. So just like a lot of stuff has been coming up, and I think the thing with shaking is it like loosens up those like traumas and then just like brings them up. So there's like a lot of like grief and sadness as well as anger. I think mostly anger, which is why the voice in the head is going so ham, which is internalized anger around just like how fucked up like most kids have it. Like there's like not a good male role model, um, not like a lot of attuned people, not like good examples of what it means to embody your masculinity. Um, and even like the thing that hit me most is like how beautiful his life was and how deeply he cared. And like it reflected back to me. It's like, wow, I've like always wanted that. And like I am it's like AOA is like giving me a language to talk about my emotions and be with it. While he grew up, and his mom is a psychiatrist, like he grew up with the language and being able to be attuned to himself and be a sensitive soul. And how beautifully it's like come out. And like like seeing the contrast of like me like finally being able to kind of like talk to him with the depth of
Mm.
connection that he's always wanted from me, and like just like seeing that like just brought like a lot of grief. And then like it like also like kind of
Oh.
it also like goes back to like other friendships I've had where like I always dissociate. I always like, same cycle. I always go into my head, and I have so many amazing friends who are so deeply attuned, who are so like in touch with their emotions and are trying to connect in the heart. And just like I was never able to do that growing up. And it just like brings this like deep grief of like, yeah, I just missed that and I'm never getting it back. You miss that part of childhood and those types of connection, and I'm never gonna get it back. And it
Mm.
just like hit me. And like I like ended a friendship a while ago with someone I'd like deeply loved, and it's very much like the kind of relationship where I'm like hyper intellectual and then she was hyper emotional, and it was like very like she was extremely loving as a person. And we had our first big fight, and we could not we could it was fucked. It was like 8 months of trying to connect with each other, and it was impossible. And I ended the friendship because I couldn't handle it. It was like every time we talked we'd be fighting, and like I didn't know what to do. And I didn't want it because I loved this person. And I don't know, she couldn't get through to me. So she would just get more and more angry. Um, and it was like that like pattern is like so painful, and that came up, and there's like just like a lot of things from the past where it was like I suffered and I didn't know why things weren't working, or like why I couldn't connect, and why things just like didn't make sense, or like why I stopped doing things that I wanted to do. Like all those things now make sense, and it just brings me pain that I didn't have the knowledge that I do now to be able to like see it as clearly as I do. And then seeing the lives of people who did have that, like did have the attunement, did have the skills, and seeing like what they make of it. Like seeing my friend like and his beautiful life and how much he like deeply loves, and how like in a way like obvious it is for him,
Yeah.
is like, oh yeah, this is just like the water he swims in, and it's not miraculous at all. It's just like, oh yeah, like love is the nature of things and reality.
He
And
probably
for
doesn't
me
need
it's
to record a podcast about it because he just knows
exactly,
it.
he just knows it, and he's like, oh yeah, of course, and that like hit me, and it hurts. It hurts to
Yeah.
see it. So that's
Yeah.
been I don't know what the like like I think it's like taking your God-given place in the world. Like for me, I'm
Ooh.
just being humbled. Like I
Mm.
think I'm all great for seeing that, oh, there's love everywhere, and I'm like being humbled, like endlessly humbled. It's like, yeah, for some people it's their like they understand it's their nature, and
Yeah.
they're like, of course it's our nature. Like, what do you mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
like the way that like I've been raised, and that's how life works. And for them, it's like actually the water they swim in, and they don't really like. It's like they have a more difficult time understanding the people who don't get that than they have. Like they have like my friend was always like, why is Samek so hard to connect to? And then like he was talking about a friend of ours, and he's like, when I imagine D, I'll just call him D. When I imagine D, I imagine him as someone, those like anti-human architecture. He's
No.
like, I imagine my friend, that friend, I imagine D as anti-human architecture. If you go to hug him, he's gonna like poke you in every place imaginable.
Oh, got it.
And
Wow.
like, and then he could see that in college. This is my close friend, D. And I'm like, I could see that now. Like, I could not
Yeah.
see it at all in college. Like, I'm like calling this friend, and this friend is just like so painful to talk to because he is so in his head and everything has to be logical, and he disagrees about everything that doesn't feel correct. Um, so the conversation was like, it's painful for me now. And for him, for my friend, he's like, oh yeah, of course. D has always been like that. Like I knew it the moment I met him in college. And like, I don't understand how he lives that way, but that's how he is. And it was like for him, it was so clear. And for me, it's like seeing that now. It's like such a contrast in a way.
I got two things. Like, one, Do you know the URL to this guy's website?
Hmm?
Do you know the URL of your friend's website?
I do. I can send it to you.
Do you want to share? Okay, you don't want to share it publicly.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
all right, cool. Haha. Well, I can see it and you all don't. Um, and I'm excited about that. And you were saying, and I think that's reasonable. So you were saying that grief is like some version of like, oh, these people had it so much easier than me, or these people knew it the whole time. Um, what would you say the essence of the grief is for you?
Um, it's more like, oh, I didn't acknowledge that I was suffering, and I was.
Oh,
That's more the essence of it. It's like,
cool,
whoa, I
sweet,
lived this childhood and it had this much suffering,
sick.
and I didn't have to have that much suffering. And now I could see it, and now that like I can actually feel the pain that I didn't acknowledge that I was feeling back then.
Yeah. I love the first way you said it. Something like you weren't acknowledging it, and now you can.
Yeah.
Like the pain, the suffering. That's really cool. So that's kind of part of what I was getting at. But what I was seeing too is there's also the grief. Uh, the thing I feel the most grief in hearing your story is this friend of yours who's always been attuned and emotionally aware and sensitive. Like, he would have loved, I'm guessing he would have loved for you to open up to him anytime. Like, anytime. And the amount of times you probably thought to say something and then you're like, nah, people don't want to see that part of me. That's too intense. Whatever. Like, you were rejecting yourself. Like, he would have loved that, but then you rejected yourself. You projected, you anticipated rejection and shut yourself down when he would have loved to see that. And it's like, damn, man, we could have been this connected the whole time, and I just wasn't fucking even looking at you. Um, yeah.
Yeah, we had a big fight about this. Like if, 'cause before I quit my job like a while ago, and I think like it was like I was in a very open-hearted space because I went to a nonviolent communication workshop with this person who like probably a saint. Like it was like the most saintly person I've ever met in my life. And then I hopped on a call with him and he like just brought up like how painful, like all the things that are painful about being friends with me since middle school. And I just like cried on the phone with him for 2 hours as we like talked about like yeah, it was probably painful for me. It was painful for me too. And I'm like, it's painful for both of us. So I'm like immensely grateful for this friend. And yeah, it was a I don't know if it was a joy. It was very it was very for like, taking caretaking or being a caretaker in any situation. Like there's a lot there. Um, but there was a lot. Like it was like a lot of things coming up in the act of being with him in that for that week and a half. Also, I think like helplessness is something that like he is still learning to be with. And like now he's like completely helpless in bed all the time. Like the universe gave him the best lesson. I think helplessness is one of those emotions that like every person, like kids, like are just like not gonna be, even if you're emotionally attuned, like you're not gonna learn to be with that emotion,
Mm.
really. Um, so it was like cool to see him like in that scenario, like his basically his worst nightmare where he can't do anything. He's like, Samek, can you fill my water bottle? Yeah. Uh, so like in that scenario, it was like cool to see that. But for me, it's like helplessness is everywhere all the time. And like it's like one emotion that I'm like pretty okay with. Uh, there's like an interesting contrast there as well. And yeah, it was like it was a very enlightening, humbling experience of taking care of him and living with him and that, and is basically in his life for a week and a half.
So, what would you say you learned from your friend this week?
I learned so much. The ones that come to my mind like fastest is like to do anything with love takes time. Like there's like this like dedication, devotion, this patience, and like seeing his life. It's like, oh yeah, everything he's doing, like he's like devoted his time to, he's like dedicated over a long period of time. Um, and like it doesn't, it's not easy. Like all your shit comes up when you're like trying to do anything. Like any, what is it, like uncertainty, like there's uncertainty if you're spending a long time doing anything. And like in that uncertainty, all the ways you run away from the present moment comes up. And seeing how he dedicates his time to like, he made, he was applying to jobs. He spent 2 months on his resume and then he changes his resume for every job. Like he was applying to Meta. He spent like 2 hours, like, and he changed two words. And then he's like, I feel like I know exactly what Meta is looking for and whether I fit in or not. And like, he like deeply like is like he deeply cares about like even those little things. And there's like a perfectionism to it, and there's like a priority thing to it. But it's like even in that, like he learned so much about like the companies, and it was cool to see his dedication and like the deeply caring life that he's built. And it really, it truly humbled me. I was like, wow, this guy fucking cares, and this is what care looks like in an aspect. And he doesn't not enjoy it. It feels like there's a
Yes,
mix.
I can tell. That's what was coming up for me. I was like, 2 hours, 2 words on the resume sounds perfectionistic as fuck, and I can tell by the way you're talking about it. I bet he fucking enjoyed those 2 hours, and so who the fuck cares? You know, like one enjoyment is the measure of efficiency. Yeah, it's like if I spent 2.5 hours going on a walk and I enjoyed it, who the fuck cares? This dude spent 2.5 hours on his resume and he enjoyed it. Who the fuck cares? Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like he's using everything, like everything. It's like anything done with a deep enough amount of love is takes you back to source. It's like I can see how like making his resume is teaching so much about himself,
Yeah.
and it's cool to see him using like so obviously, so like as if this is the norm, using everything to learn more deeply about himself.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, like why would he need, like why would he even need AOA or any of
Yeah.
these things I'm doing? Because like his
Yes.
life is just like that way.
That's the other thing. That's another thing I noticed about your friend. I like how you said it. It's exactly what I mean. But the way it comes up for me is like, if you see all of life that way, why not be a software engineer? Like, why not? Like, I think so many people are unhappy being software engineers. Sounds like your friend could be happy doing almost anything in some sense. And, like, I don't know. It's
Also
when you
his
see the world that way, why not follow your intuition about what you want to do?
exactly, yeah. It's fucking awesome. Oh my God. Also, his girlfriend and him, like their relationship is the most healthy relationship I've ever seen in my life. I've seen a lot of relationship. This is the healthiest relationship I've ever seen, and they are so unfiltered. It's crazy. Like
Nice.
he says everything that comes to mind, and she is not as unfiltered, but like is able to hold it. And it's really cool to see their relationship. And then like one thing that I've noticed is like I sent like him the episode where Joe talks about his relationship with Tara and how was like or some I sent him a AOA episode about like speaking your truth, and your life will come to align with it. And then like, he heard it once and he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. And then he started doing it immediately. And then like
Yeah.
and then there was an aspect of like, is this relationship really for me? Like, I don't know, right? He was in that uncertain phase, and in the act of just like continuously speaking his truth and seeing his girlfriend not leave, there was like this thing that happened. Was like in the act of like not really caring about whether this person is my person and allowing myself to be fully myself. And seeing that this person is not leaving for like a year, he's like, why would I not spend my life with this person? She has seen like every side of me and has still stayed. And like it like in a way like his like non-committalness like allowed him to like commit so much deeper. And it's like one of those it's almost like, you know, love without attachment thing, like in his relationship with his girlfriend, which is like actually never seen in like any other friendship relationship that like that are around me. So it's like deeply inspiring as well.
Sounds like a cool man.
Great man, grand man.
Anything else?
Makes me so happy to share that. um, and I'm depressed, guys. I'll come out of it stronger, like every time. Let's go.
Can you ask me a question?
Yes. Hmm. This one I'm curious about. So I've like lived with people for like the last month, like straight, always with people. And you've been doing that for a while now. How's community living and what has it taught you so far?
People have this vibe here that they're like, that's the price of living in community. Like, no one's doing their dishes. Like, that's the price of living in community. But I guess it's worth it. Yeah, it is worth it. I'm like, dude, there's no fucking downside to this. There's no downside. Maybe the downside is I don't live in a city. I don't really want to live in a city. What has community living taught me? I mean, like, I think a huge thing is, like, I was talking about that meeting. So it is really cool and special in the same way that getting triggered is a gift and you get to learn about yourself and see yourself more clearly. Being in, like, these higher commitment relationships, like, I live and work with these people. Like, we will have conflicts that are unavoidable and that I can't just leave because I fucking live here. Like, we can avoid each other, but that's going to become unsustainable. And so, in the same way as Art of Accomplishment's relational work, to have to be around people and to have a certain level of intimacy and trust and interdependence, these people they're going to trigger me, and I'm not going to be able to just run away. I'm going to have to figure out how to face it in some way that feels good to me, whether it's talking to them about them or screaming in my room, or having view conversations about it, whatever it is. And so that's just like a huge gift. Yeah, and so there's people here who piss me the fuck off. There's people here I don't like. There's people here I would truly say I don't respect, and that I don't admire in almost any way. Like, I don't think anyone's bad, but I think they're, like, incompetent and unpleasant and not fun to interact with. And yeah, I don't even want to be, like, influenced about, like, if I could choose, they wouldn't be here. But I don't get to choose. So I get to feel everything that comes up being around those kinds of people. And, you know, in the same way that Joe Hudson talks about, you're attracted to the romantic partner who triggers you the most, which is also where you have the highest potential for healing. I'm living at this place, Earth Dance, for a fucking reason. And let's just assume it's the same exact thing. I'm attracted to Earth Dance, which means it's the place that's going to trigger me the most, and it's the place where I have the highest potential for healing. So, in a community where I do have people here who I absolutely fucking love and feel seen by and feel like I can say basically everything I want to say to them, and I have enough safety to like get the support I want here, and I have Art of Accomplishment online through my laptop, which is here in some sense, and it's like, oh, this is just efficient, this is just fun, this is just interesting, this is just exciting, this is just helping me grow and understand myself and enjoy life more. And when I was taking the decisions course like 7 months ago, I was going through this like crazy situation at work, like probably like the like shittiest situation I've been in. Like shit was fucked. Um, it's not exactly that I was being abused. I was being mistreated. I would say I was being severely mistreated. um, and I had so much support through the decisions course and living with my two friends in a group house. I was like, oh wow, this has turned like one of the shittiest situations in my life into an opportunity. And so there's a flavor of that, which is this is the best situation of my life. And people still trigger me, so there's still many shitty situations, and then I have enough support that those can be transformative and help me see myself more clearly. So what have I learned living in community? And I've lived with people for most of my adult life, or all of my adult life. I basically never live alone. I don't like to live alone. So I've lived with people, but to live in specifically community, I think another thing I'm having more respect for, which I had less respect for when I worked in community at this alternative education school, is like I think I have a bunch of good ideas and maybe even have better ideas about how to solve especially social and group dynamic problems than most people. And I mean, one way to say it is like I can't control people into doing what I want, or even if I'm right about what might fix the problem, then there's the question of like, well, do people actually want to do what they would need to do? Because if people would just do that out of obligation, it's not a solution. So like, all right, no one cleans the dishes. Everyone's pissed right now about no one doing the dishes. Their solution is go to the meeting once a week and go, guys, you really need to do more dishes. Everyone, guys, you gotta stay on top of your dishes. I'm gonna post in the group chat, guys, you really gotta stay more on top of your dishes. As one might expect, this doesn't do anything. I, Harry, am like, well, the thing that would actually work is like a systemic intervention. Like some system that just makes the bad thing actually less likely to happen no matter what, rather than trying to get people to be more individually responsible for this system that's clearly not working. Like, let's change the system instead of people be like, do the system that isn't working better. But I can't control anyone. I don't know. I'm like those people are like, if people would just do their dishes, everything would work. And I'm like, if people would just think about this problem systemically, everything would work. And like neither of those work. So yeah, there's some learning there about like, oh, I like actually can't fix your problems for you. Even if we assume I'm right, I still can't fix your problems for you. And it's like still gonna be about like connection or love or intention or care that like solves this problem, not like a good idea. Because even if I have a good idea, if employing that good idea only comes out of obligation, and it doesn't fucking matter.
Dope.
I think the other thing I've learned is that like, I think I'm in a pretty open and loving community, but still like just people accept me more than I would expect. Uh, and so, the Joe Hudson one is you're like, I can't speak my truth or I'm going to lose my job. I can't speak up or she's going to break up with me. And then you speak your truth, and 80% of the time, the person meets you there. 80% of the time, they're like, cool. 20% of the time, they're like, nah, I fucking hate you. Get out of here. You're fired. I'm breaking up with you. I can't handle your truth. I don't like your truth. And so I just seeing that in community, it's like, oh, I feel more of my masculine energy and empowerment. And then I bring it out, and I'm like, everyone's going to kill me. People are going to stab me. And then they just like don't notice. Or they're like, oh, Harry seems happy today. Or they're like, haha, that was funny. It's like, what? This is the part where you literally stab me in the throat. And they're like, oh, that was slightly uncomfortable, but I didn't even really notice. Or like, haha, that was funny. Yeah.
Great.
Ready for me to toss it back to you?
Yep.
What's your relationship with empowerment right now?
It comes and goes. It's like I can do anything, and then like fuck, I have so much fucking shit to feel to do anything and everything. God damn it. And then there's like I could do anything, and then it's like a fuck. I feel like a 5-year-old right now. I want to be 5 years old, and then like I'm adult. I mean, I don't like it's like an interesting thing that's been happening over this whole year, over the last 2 years, is uh like age regression. Like it's like different times I'm showing up at different ages, and there's all like during the true 2 week trips in Guatemala, I felt really young. I felt like 12 or 13, and that allowed me to be in like dynamics and like have relational patterns show up that wouldn't naturally show up if I was like adult Samek the entire time. And that also allowed me to heal in ways that I wouldn't have if I was adult Samek the entire time. Um, and when you're being a child, there's healing that happens that makes it so being an adult feels even more empowering. And at the same time, it's not very empowering to be a child. Um, it's like I could like when you're a child, like it's like you feel very innocent, you feel very like small. Um, and there is like I can't do everything, that I can't do anything
I
in it
think
sometimes.
I wanna jump in and say I think that's probably true of a lot of people's childhood, and it sounds like that's how you felt in childhood. But I don't think feeling like a child is necessarily that way.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
definitely agree. But that comes up for me when I am a
yeah,
child. And then in the act of like getting triggered as a child and then processing the trigger, there's a moment of like I will probably not be this child again. And then there's like
oh shit.
and yeah, there's like this like processing that happens that allows me to stay in adult mode like longer and then play in adult mode and hang out in adult mode. But
Wait, tell me
there's still
more
like
about that. Tell me more about that
go for it.
sentence. I probably won't be this child again.
Like there's an aspect of I am being this certain age
Yeah,
and playing out these dynamics
yeah.
and playing out these pains because the pain I felt being that child in that way was not fully honored. So
Mm.
when I play it out again, and then I notice the pain of being this child in this
Oof.
particular way, then, and I honor it, like I actually grieve it, I actually get
Yeah.
angry, I actually feel the pain of it. There's almost like a honoring of the life I lived, honoring the pain I felt. And when I do that, there's a why would I do that again? now that I have this option, this other option of a more less painful life. So there's I probably won't be this child again once it has been fully metabolized. But it takes
Yeah.
time. I like quoted I tweeted this thing out um after I called my dad and he was being really passive aggressive and like I ended the call and like set a boundary with him. And it was inspired by Brene Brown, which is like when you tell someone that what you did um was hurtful, they will feel shame. Like they'll like if you say like, "Ah, what you did hurt me," the other person will feel shame, and that's not your responsibility. But if you don't feel the edges of people and let them know that it hurts, the other person will never know their own edges. Like if someone's like being really pokey and aggressive
Mm.
and like hurting you, and you don't say "ouch," they just won't know that
Yeah,
what they're
yeah, yeah.
doing or how they're behaving is hurtful. And then
Yeah.
in the act of not knowing, they're never gonna change. They're like they just don't
Yeah.
notice it. But once like someone else is like, ouch, like that hurt, like the person who hurt them is gonna feel shame. Like this is what happens when you hurt someone. Like you're human, you're gonna feel shame. But like it's not that's not the same as shaming someone. So it's not your responsibility to like hold that shame. And in the act of like if you don't feel the shame, you actually feel the hurt underneath the shame, you actually get to ground the edges of yourself and like be a softer human. And I feel like there's an aspect of like being in community for me, like allowing all these child parts to come up with all their natural edges and then hurting people in the process. And then them letting me know that like what I did hurt, which doesn't happen often, which is kind of frustrating. Like it's almost like I want you to tell me that I hurt you more. Because it
Yeah.
happened a few times over the past month, and every time it happened, I went through a grief process. And then the other side of it, I felt more empowered. I felt like I'm not going to be this child again. Um, but it didn't happen like many times. It only happened a few times, and it was very, very like it was very beautiful when it did happen. It was very like the roller coaster I was able to go on when someone was like, "Oh, when you did this, it really hurt," was amazing, um, and very healing, and empowerment. Like there's like aspect of empowerment that like comes out on the other side of yeah, I could just be empowered. It's sometimes I could just be empowered. I could be an adult and live in that way. And I want to live as an adult most of the time, but there's still like a lot of pain that I've not fully honored that like comes up in ways that are like pokey edges, let's say.
That was what's your relationship to empowerment like right now? What? So like last week I was like acting like a, is like pretending to be a kid and throwing like a pretend tantrum like, uh, I don't wanna. And I was like throwing pillows around this room and like flopping on the floor, and my two friends were watching me and like laughing about it. It was fucking awesome. I don't know, that just like that feels very empowering to me. So I'm like, what feels when you're in child, what feels disempowering? Yeah.
Nothing. It's not even a question. I feel like
Okay.
empowerment is like I'm just in a way when I'm child, it feels very empowering, but it also doesn't. It's like I'm doing exactly what I want,
Uh-huh.
but the wants are just not as like big and ambitious as like adult Samek would. Like the adult Samek wants feel very ambitious. Like I want money. Like the wants of a child doesn't really have that. But there's still a feeling of empowerment. But it's almost the experience is almost like it's the water I'm swimming in versus like it's bigger than me. Um,
Mm.
that comes up when I'm like being an adult.
So adult has like a deeper power and expansiveness. Sorry, deeper empowerment and expansiveness.
That's the experience of it
Cool.
for me.
Sweet. Anything else on your part?
No, that was good.
Sick. Who ends it? I don't remember.
I think I end it.
All
Thanks
right.
everyone for watching to the 22nd episode of the Attunement Podcast. We'll keep doing this for as long as we enjoy it. Throwing it back to Harry.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. Thank you for listening. Yeah. I hope, like Samek's friend who gives very deep care to shit, I hope you give that much care to a tiny part of yourself for 3 seconds right now. 3, 2, 1, go. Thanks for listening. Bye, everyone.